An overwhelming number of people believe that achieving success requires them and those around them to sacrifice it all. And there's a lot of leaders holding on to that detrimental belief because sadly, that's what they had to do. So we perpetuate and punish those that are on the same path. Because success cannot come without sacrifice, right? If I paid with my life, so must you. And this has got to change. We've got to change the paradigm.
Your job is to rewire your brain with the power of your own mind. That's what neuroplasticity is all about. That's what the human experience is all about. To uncover and rediscover what we are, human beings, feeling and thinking beings, and by doing so, creating our experience from a moment-to-moment basis. Expand your consciousness into a world where mindfulness meets neuroscience. My name is Fernanda Lind, and I am your host.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Wired to Win show. Thank you for listening. As always, I'm super honored and grateful that you're here today with me. And my mission for you, listening to this podcast right now, in this moment, is to show you what is possible to help you become the most outstanding leader in your sphere. And today we're diving into the idea of work-life balance. Being an executive, being someone in a leadership position, a C-suite professional, always evokes images of corner offices, multiple digit salaries, big responsibilities, right? And it also implies the ability to work under pressure, to perform constantly, especially when the stakes are really high. You're expected to deliver better results year after year, beating the competition while managing huge uncertainty and a lot of risk. This is the life of any entrepreneur, by the way. So from my experience working in the financial markets under both private and public scrutiny, and especially in times of crisis, the pressure to deliver at every crucial point in time was immense. And at that level, there is no rest. There is no getting a break for someone at this level. You don't get a break. There is no room for getting a break. And these things obviously take their toll. CEOs or people in high-level leadership may appear superhuman, but the reality is they are as fallible as anyone else and not at all immune to the pressures and the fear of failure that these expectations can bring. And having a fulfilling personal life, having time for your loved ones and to take care of yourself with such a trying work life doesn't even seem to be up for discussion, especially on those days where you jump from one thing to the next, but all you manage to accomplish is to just feel stretched, overworked, maybe overwhelmed. So regardless of your position, whether you are the founder, whether you are the CEO or in the C-suite or a high-level senior executive leader, you probably juggle a lot. It's no joke what you're up against. Career, family, social circle, volunteering activities, your own interests, your hobbies, most important of all, your mental health and your well-being. Every single day, you face the constant push and pull of life, and it is relentless. And the question is not only how we got to this point, but more importantly, how do we change? How do we change the way we work and lead ourselves and others so we can reach the goals we have without the sacrifice it takes to get there? And what's now being uncovered, and especially after the pandemic and the work from home culture that has been created, is that the digital age, the work pace is accelerating at a crazy fast pace. For many senior level professionals, it means running a race just to keep up, and it's out of control. Marie Åsberg, which is a psychiatrist and professor at Karolinska Institute. It's Karolinska Institute here in Stockholm, in Sweden. She refers to burnout as hitting the wall. So she talks about the fact how work can take over our lives and our space for other interests, and how work takes over in a way that everything else disappears, that we don't have time for our lives, leading us to total exhaustion. So according to Osberg, most people will take months to recover. And some, she says, can take upward to over 2 years and still experience the lasting effects of their trauma for years afterward. So just like pause it for a second and reflect on this, because this is crazy. That it takes upward to 2 years to recover from burnout sometimes. That the trauma is so intense that it takes you years to come back. This is, it's so important to understand the severe effects of hitting the wall. According to the author of The Burnout Epidemic, her name is Jennifer Moss, she talks about the culture of working ourselves to the ground, that it's killing us, like literally killing us. She mentions a study by University College of London of over 600,000 workers, and they found that those who worked more than 55 hours a week had a 13% greater risk of a heart attack and were 33% more likely to suffer a stroke, compared with those who worked 35 to 40 hours per week. And again, this is why it is so critical that we prevent burnout from happening in the first place. There's a constant struggle just to manage the demands, to be on at all times, and work bleeds into our personal lives. Professionals today are working way more than 40 hours per week in order to be viewed as like productive. And again, it is killing us. Study reported that 61% of remote workers found it difficult to unplug during non-work hours during the pandemic, showing the increasing bleed of work life into personal life. Ultimately, the problem is not that these two lines blur, but the biggest problem is that we feel powerless to control how much these bleed into each other. So it's gone out of control, and the feeling of powerlessness is what ultimately leads to burnout. So when we feel like we have no control or autonomy, we are already down the lane of burnout. And work-life balance becomes just a fantasy, like it's never going to be attained. And at that point, we usually have no choice but to step down, because it's either that or we will be forced to step down because our health and our lives are at stake. So in today's work culture, we have to satisfy work demands by arriving early, being the one who's at work before everyone else, like just showing that you're super, super committed. We also have to stay late, pull all-nighters, work weekends just to keep a seat at the table, and not to mention being plugged into your phone like 24/7. Because who knows, right? You might be needed in the middle of the night. There's always someone, right, in another time zone, remotely, needing your attention. Let's get real. There's always a crisis somewhere. So I better work. And the hard part is that we are forced to choose again and again to prioritize our careers ahead of other parts of our lives, ahead of our health, our mental well-being, our friends, our children, our partners. This reality is difficult to talk about, let alone challenge, because despite the overwhelming research and again, the well-documented personal and physical costs of these choices and sacrifices, just Google burnout in executives and entrepreneurs, and it's a terrifying read. So again, an overwhelming number of people believe that achieving success requires them and those around them to sacrifice it all. And there's a lot of leaders holding on to that detrimental belief, because sadly, that's what they had to do. So we perpetuate and punish those that are on the same path, because success cannot come without sacrifice, right? If I paid with my life, so must you. And this has got to change. We've got to change the paradigm. And there's a new era of leadership, and I'm here for it. Not only conscious leaders, but impactful leaders with an ambition to change this paradigm and to create a sustainable world. And that is what I'm talking about. Next level leaders, world-class leaders here to change the world, not only advance their own careers, because we can do both. But in order to do so, we need to keep our seat at the table. We need work-life balance. We need to be able to have both big professional goals and a fulfilling, thriving personal life. We need to prevent burnout at all cost, and we need to build cultures that promote sustainable success. If the pinnacle of your career has become so full of noise that you struggle to hear and connect with your truth, the truth of who you truly are and what you want to create in this world, what you stand for, you're not alone. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of senior women in leadership positions we're talking mission-driven professions who find it especially challenging to craft and to really sustain a multifaceted identity. Because as humans in today's world, it is the norm to live as fractured, multifaceted beings. Mothers, friends, mentors, activists, career woman, boss, founder, leader, partner. All of these make up the whole of your existence. And all of those parts are you. But does everything need to count as opportunity cost? The more you strive to win in one dimension, for example, you in your work identity, the more the other 3, 4, 5 dimensions of you, say yourself, your home, your community, your spiritual self, must lose. Is that so? Well, according to Stuart Friedman, and he's a work-life integration expert, he says that life is not a zero-sum game. Like, you do not have to make trade-offs among life's domains, at least not as much as you think, nor should you. Because trading off can leave you feeling exhausted, unfulfilled, or isolated, and it hurts the people you care about most. And I agree with this wholeheartedly. Because this means we need to learn how to manage all that we are. All our parts, our portfolio of different identities and the expectations that come with them, and create alignment between these identities. We need to integrate all parts into one powerful being. And as a leader, you have an opportunity to model this and choose to lead from an integrated and aligned being a whole and complete leader. And this is necessary in creating and maintaining a sustainable work-life balance. This is crucial at the top. You're not only a leader, but you are also a role model. So the question is then, how do we manage work-life balance? Well, let me offer you a few insights from both published research work from Harvard Business Review into how you can do just that. So first of all, you have to determine what matters to you, and only you can do that. A lot of people get stuck right here and honestly don't know what matters to them. They're just super lost in this hamster wheel and lost in people pleasing that they just don't know any longer what they want. And if money and success is no longer what you need to pursue because you're already at the top, then what? And you can manage your calendar like a pro, you can manage your time better, but if you don't set your priorities straight and you know what you truly desire and want to create in this world, it matters nothing. And as a leadership mentor to top executives and founders, and as a businesswoman, I have to have my priorities straight. I'm crystal clear on what my values are and how I want to live and lead my life. And I am ruthless with my attention, and my attention is my most important, most valuable asset. And you have to be selective with where you put your attention and how you spend your time and your attention, because that means spending your mental energy on the right things at the right time. And this, again, ensures that you stop talking about self-care and about work-life balance and actually start practicing it. I mean, this is crucial. The metaphor of the dog mind and the lion mind is at the center of my transformation and the work that I do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, then make sure to sign up for my free training. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. But here's what my point is, and one that I will keep on reiterating. The dog mind has zero control of its own emotional state. Like, it has no awareness of self, so it is constantly the mercy of its impulses. It follows primal prodding, basic rewards, fear, like any challenge sends the dog mind into panic and into reactive motions. But the lion mind has full awareness of what is going on in its inner world. The lion mind is powerful because in the very midst of chaos, there it is, in the center of its own stillness. The lion mind creates its own path. The lion mind is driven by purpose and it lives with intention. And the lion mind understands that in order to lead, it has to be removed itself from the current situation to a higher viewpoint to take in the bigger picture. And far from being cold or detached, being in the lion mind state means being intensely compassionate and especially being self-aware. It is emotional intelligence at the highest level. And it means practicing self-compassion as well as respect and empathy for your employees, but especially for yourself. Because when you understand why you or anyone else does the things they do, you can better understand how to teach yourself to do the things you want. Learn how to operate with your lion mind. You will set better priorities for yourself when your sense of purpose has been awakened. And you have to know your priorities and limits to create work-life balance. That's the secret. You have to know yourself. You have to understand yourself. And most importantly, you have to understand and have awareness on how your mind works. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in dog mind, unaware forever, perpetuating the same self-sabotaging patterns and behaviors that got you here. So again, self-compassion and self-awareness. That is the winning combo here. And again, if you're looking for a quick fix, just a Band-Aid, hey, look elsewhere. Bye. Good luck with that. But if you're looking for real, powerful change and to become a woman of impact, to become the most outstanding leader in your sphere, to feel like your work matters without having to sacrifice yourself in order to stay at the top, then hello and welcome to the rewired world. Again, gather your courage to reclaim your power and to create life on your own terms. Choose to say yes to changing yourself first and foremost in order to change the outside world. I'm inviting you to choose to lead yourself and others from an empowered and resilient way of being, a sustainable way of being that allows you to lead, that allows you to lead with impact and influence without losing yourself in the process. Because it does come down to choice, and you get to choose. All right, my friends, this is it for today. As always, I hope this gave you value and challenged your thinking. Make sure to leave a review if you have enjoyed this podcast. And again, wherever you are in the world, I'm wishing you a wonderful day or evening. Bye, everyone.